Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only weather forecast right through till Sunday. And we've got a thunderstorm outbreak. It's already started today. It's going to carry on for a couple more days as low pressure moves in, especially for Victoria and New South Wales. Let's have a look at the satellite map. You can see the thunderstorm outbreak this morning as it moves across New South Wales and skirts around the A.C.T. The line of convergence goes all the way back up towards the top end and the Kimberley. So we're seeing thunderstorms here and there through the outback, but much of the energy this morning in New South Wales, and that is pushing out to the coast. But more energy is coming because there is a low pressure zone near the southern part of Western Australia, driving in a colder southerly today, a few showers and thunderstorms around parts of Western Australia, especially coastal areas, and that is all moving eastwards and is going to combine with the thunderstorm area that is moving from the top end to the southeast. So we'll try and make sense of that. Here's the misery index. This is the air pressure map with a few temperatures put into it. It's a simple guide for farmers, really. What you're looking at is blue, 0 and below, red, 30 and above. If you're in the grey or black shading, temperate weather, which means livestock, human beings, we don't necessarily feel overly hot or overly cold. And so this is much warmer air being pulled down into New South Wales. That is the area that we're getting the thunderstorms in. And as that low moves in towards Victoria in the coming days, and the southerly comes in with it, that mixes with the warm, and that's going to help produce a deeper area of low pressure and more widespread wet weather. Some of you might have also noticed a bit of yellow shading up here in the top end in the Kimberley, 40 degrees and above. Haven't seen much of that in previous months, but now the days are getting longer and hotter. We're going to see more of that yellow shading as well. So hot weather is coming back into the forecast, although being spring for half the country anyway, in the southern half, it's going to be changeable. So let's have a look at the thunderstorm animation to begin with. This starts for you Monday morning. Now the timestamp here is in New Zealand time. I can't actually change that, so I thought it was easier to leave that than UTC. So all you have to do is take 2 hours off it to work out at least the Eastern times. So you can see the thunderstorm line here as we kick off today. Those thunderstorms we just showed you on the animation are basically just moving out to sea. So let's animate this now, and you can see basically over the coming days how they bubble up during the afternoon and evening. That's when you get the severe thunderstorm risk. But the line of showers and thunderstorms does not move very much over the coming days. Now, even the areas in yellow, even if you're nearby to them, you can still have heavy downpours, doesn't necessarily have to have thunder. And once we get to the end of Thursday, much of that energy moving out to sea, but we've still got the low left over with some wet weather. So that line of thunderstorms just roughly shows you where they're likely to be. It could still move around a little bit. One of the reasons it can move around a wee bit is because at this stage anyway, there isn't one single area of low pressure. There are in fact 1, 2, 3 of them. And that moves the energy around a wee bit as it gets better organised. And that can mean thunderstorms might bubble up further southwards or further northwards, and it can move around a wee bit. So keep up to date with those Bureau of Meteorology warnings and watches over the next few days. As that moves through with the thunderstorms, we've also got polar air moving along the southern coastline. That comes in to coastal parts of South Australia from Port Lincoln westwards. The other area with polar airflow around Tasmania, southwesterlies, west coast rain. In Victoria, mostly dry, but there are a few showers, mostly on the coastal side of things. Elsewhere, really not much to talk about. Large dry areas, only a few coastal showers coming in for Queensland here. Doesn't look like very much at all, not yet anyway. Into Wednesday, now we've got one central area of low pressure, which means it's easier to forecast where the wind and the rain is most likely to be. Windy weather around Victoria, easterlies, southerlies going around the centre of that low. Depending on the exact placement of that low and how deep the air pressure gets inside it, means that the wind and the wet weather might still move around a little bit, 50, 60 kilometres around to the east, the north. You know what I mean? It moves around. Same with that line of heavy rain that you see up into New South Wales. Whether that is exactly there or just slightly northwards or westwards, that is hard to lock in. So what we do is go for a bigger picture view and just basically say there's instability right across New South Wales, not so much in the northeast where it is mostly dry, but much of New South Wales, even the A.C.T and the northern half of Victoria, mostly inside that box, as are parts of South Australia, including Adelaide, where there might be some heavy falls and thunderstorms in the mix. Once you go west of that, southerlies fade out And then once you get to Perth, it's an easterly flow, dry weather for you. Easterlies all the way up Western Australia, but a few thunderstorms still around the Kimberley region. Gusty weather on Thursday morning as the low that's inland moves out to sea. It deepens with the energy of the Tasman Sea. That creates very windy coastal conditions, basically from about Bateman's Bay up to Newcastle. These areas could be seeing wind gusts over 100 kilometres an hour. Inland areas, not so bad. So for boaties, really, that's who I'm talking to. And those of you that live right on the coastline, if you're flying into Sydney, don't be too worried. Windy weather can sometimes actually make the plane land faster on the runway. So there you go. There's a positive bit of news for you. And further up around the Great Dividing Range, going right up to about Queensland, places like Toowoomba could be seeing that or feeling that windy westerly blowing through with gusty conditions around on Thursday morning or overnight Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. Thursday, going into the daytime itself, the low moves further away. The windy weather does as well. So the winds ease pretty quickly going into Thursday. High pressure ballooning out around South Australia. Southerly winds produce a few showers still for coastal parts of South Australia on Thursday. And once you get into Victoria, the further east you go, the wetter it gets, especially as you come in around the Tasman Sea here, coming into New South Wales, where there could be close to 100 millimetres falling in just a day up to Thursday afternoon. Still showers around, but as we saw before, most of those thunderstorms fall apart, but there may still be a few here coming in around Queensland and the southeast. Otherwise, dry weather is around, but we do see a very small area of low pressure around Darwin, producing a few showers coming down into the Katherine area and also the Kimberley. Not a lot of energy up there, but it's just nice to be able to talk about you after the past 3 months where it has been very quiet in your dry season. And by Friday, the high is coming in over the top of South Australia and Adelaide. Apart from a few showers around, skies are drying out, the winds are easing. Still a bit breezy through Tasmania with a westerly, nothing serious in there. A couple of west coast showers, coastal showers for Victoria, coastal showers for New South Wales. Queensland's mainly dry, but in the mid-coast, maybe a couple of showers off the sea with the easterly blowing through for you. And those showers that were in the top end sort of drift further into the Kimberley. For the rest of Western Australia, nor'easters and northerlies mean your temperatures are going up. So let's make sense of the rainfall into New South Wales and Victoria in particular. This is the American modelling. Now, whether you're looking at the American modelling, the European modelling, the Australian modelling, they're all pretty much the same, but they move things around a wee bit. And it's kind of what I was saying before, that with these sort of thunderstorms, it's hard to always forecast with accuracy exactly where they're going to go. It could be 20 kilometres up the road from you. And so where you see places like Parkes here getting 100 millimetres of rain, I'll show you the next map in a moment that could move that a wee bit, but you get the idea. Heavy falls around New South Wales, some parts of South Australia, northern half of Victoria and the eastern side of Victoria getting some rain, and potentially some heavier falls coming down towards places like Bateman's Bay. So that's the American modelling. You focus on the two areas with the heaviest rain, jump to the European modelling, and you see they've moved it further up towards Dubbo and this further up towards Sydney. That means there's still some wiggle room with this forecast, but really anyone in New South Wales should be monitoring what is happening. Keep up to date with those Bureau of Meteorology thunderstorm outlooks. They are tasked with the official warnings and watches, and some of that wet weather around Victoria not as locked in as it is for New South Wales when you see one model predicting it and the other one not. So we'll be monitoring that as well. But look, the severe weather potential is certainly there over the next couple of days. So let's go into the weekend to finish off, and high pressure moves out over the Tasman Sea, very close to Lord Howe Island. Things there are going to be much drier and calmer. Southerly winds, a few showers also coming in around parts of New South Wales and southeastern parts of Queensland. Then you've got to go right up further towards Cairns and Townsville, where you're more likely to get heavier showers starting to push on in. Everywhere else is pretty much dry except for Western Australia. Here is the next cold front. There is a storm well down over the Southern Ocean. The cold front coming along and brushing you. So there'll be west to southwest winds, a few showers, maybe a few thunderstorms as well, from central parts all the way down to the southwest of Western Australia. On Sunday, that energy pushes further in towards South Australia. Remember, the cold front is mostly offshore. So you're just sort of getting brushed by the edges of it as it moves on through. So a slight temperature change, a few showers in there, and the wind's obviously going for some of you from the warm nor'westers to more of a coastal wind. So the temperatures will drop a wee bit, but the main area with the rain, even then it's not very much, and that is south of you. The most energy actually on Sunday is up around Queensland, where you might get some severe thunderstorms in the top half, the northeastern sort of area, or actually, I don't know, you wouldn't call that northeastern, would you? Sort of there, northwards. I'm always conscious of people that don't, vision impaired, trying to say the right things. I need to do a lot more research on Australian place names. I've been doing it, believe me. That's why I play Flight Simulator, to really get my head around it. So excuse me if I do sometimes just generalize where they're falling. I think my geography teacher, my late geography teacher, would be pretty impressed with how much I've learned, but I could still learn much more. Anyway, northerly winds come in, which means for New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Sunday is warmer and drier than many of the days that are coming up. That is all from me for today. I'll be back again tomorrow, Tuesday, as we take a closer look at the low pressure zone, the rain, and those severe weather risks going in for the next couple of days. I'll see you then.